Good day, Martial World. This is Michelle Manu, and you're watching the Masters Hall of Fame World News. Today we're joined by our special guest, Grandmaster Darryl Vidal. I'd like to introduce you to Darryl. Darryl is best known for appearing as himself in the original Karate Kid movie as the tournament semi-finalist. Darryl was also the stunt double for Mr. Miyagi, Pat Morita, performing the crane technique atop the wooden pilings on the beach. Darryl began his martial arts training at the age of 12 with a friend in Chino, California. By age 18, he earned his black belt in Kenpo Karate. Since earning his black belt, Darryl has expanded his martial arts knowledge and experience with wrestling, kung fu, boxing, Wing Chun, and Filipino stick fighting. In 2012, Darryl was promoted to Grandmaster, 10th degree, or Judan, by Instructor Joe Rosas. Did I say that correctly? Yes. Okay. After nearly 40 years of teaching and training. In 2013, Darryl was recognized and inducted into the Masters Hall of Fame. He currently teaches Kenpo Karate and stick fighting for the Murrieta Parks and Recreation Department, where he has taught now for 25 years. Well, Grandmaster, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Michelle. Great being here. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's wonderful to have you here. And everyone is really excited because of your role in history and in the Karate Kid movie back in the day. But I wanted to start out a little bit about your experience. You have been training for over 40 years, and I'm always curious about origins and what attracted you to the martial arts when you were 12?
Well, I had moved with my family. My father was in the Navy, and then we moved to Chino. And really, one of the few Asians in the area. And then the advent, obviously, of the Chinese kung fu movies and Bruce Lee, really a big following. So I think along with that and being a small person, needing to, wanting to learn to protect myself, I wasn't in the other mainstream sports. I didn't play baseball so much except for in the street. So I had to gravitate toward the martial arts. Really was a natural thing for me.
That's great. Yeah. That's wonderful. Okay, so I wanted to ask you a little bit about when you earned your black belt, what really stuck out to you? How do you knew that you were going to continue on the martial arts lifestyle path? Or
that's a good question. One of the things that was told to me when I did achieve my black belt during our testing, and something that I continue as a tradition to say to my students when they test is, achieving the black belt is really the beginning of your martial arts career.
Yeah.
You've done what's necessary to, quote, master something. Now you have to, continue doing that. And my instructor, Joe Rosas, he taught through the Parks and Rec and still does. And I like that community, giving back to the community. And so I thought that was a good path. I always knew that it would be something that I'd be involved with. Not my whole career, for say, because I have a regular job and all that kind of stuff, but something definitely that I would always be involved in, and I love teaching so much, so I think it was a natural thing.
Well, then you progressed then to you decided that you wanted to learn outside of Kenpo Karate.
Well, I think that's a natural progression.
Right.
I think everyone that does start to take martial arts seriously starts to look at different styles. I think the challenge is to master something first. I think a lot of people train and then train in this and train in that.
Dabble.
And yeah, dabble in a lot of, and it's good, and it's they learn defense, they learn, but different styles. But I think it is good to master something and have that under your belt, and then branch out and see what other styles are doing.
Do you have a favorite, or is it just the compilation of everything that you've learned that is your style now?
Yeah, you know what? I try to keep the Kenpo part of it as close to what I was taught through my instructor, along with some additional concepts that I might have added through the years. But then with the practice of things like Wing Chun and boxing and the stick fighting, I have found that I always gravitate to those type of flows or movements.
Movements.
Yeah, and so teach the Kenpo, but use it when it's applicable, and then obviously in sparring you can kind of mix it all
Yeah,
together.
that's the fun part.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
or on the street waiting for that opportunity to.
Theoretically.
Hopefully not. Yeah.
Right.
Well, I want to get to some fun action here, and your role in the Karate Kid movie. What is your most memorable scene or person, or what stands out for you when you think that?
That's a great question, because when I saw that question, I really had to think. There were a lot of different parts of that whole filming, because one, I'm not an actor, so I had never really been involved in that. I did think at the time that I would be the next Bruce Lee, because I thought I was, talented martial artist, and I lived in Southern California. Why wouldn't?
And you're young and you're invincible.
Yeah, why wouldn't I become the next Bruce Lee?
Well, why not?
But but once you get into the filming and the production, the most daunting thing that I can remember, and it's actually on the film, is when they announced the semi-final. It's against myself and Johnny Lawrence.
You're right.
And we walk onto the stage. It's actually my back and Johnny walking this way. And I can remember that scene because they literally had 7 or 8 cameras running at the same time. Overhead, one guy here, a slow motion. And so all these cameras would start. And then all the audience was there. It was really fully encircled with audience cheering. And so it was all there. And I was
a real life tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then we're going to do this choreographed fighting, but with all the audience reaction and as much blood and guts, if you will, that we can put into the choreographed scenes. So that was pretty overwhelming. It's really a great memory.
Oh, that's wonderful. Wow, you got me so engrossed I completely forgot about my next question. I think it actually is about the crane kick. So you're the creator of that. Well, not many people know that, but your grandmaster created that nice little crane kick.
I'm glad I have this opportunity, because there is a lot of confusion.
Sure.
And even things that I've said in the past or written in the past have been taken a little bit out of context, and I want to kind of try to clear
the record. Yeah,
because there are parts of that movement that I would say that, I made that up. But as you know, a double jump kick is a double jump kick. I think every system has it. And I've read on blogs that, he didn't make that up, he couldn't have made that up. But of course, that part of it is not made up. It's a kick that's, in our system we call it a double jump kick.
Sure, but the way that it was executed.
So, let's take it from the whole beginning. Robert Mark Kamen, the writer of the Karate Kid, put in the script that there is this crane technique. He dubbed it the crane technique. The idea was that you would be standing on one leg, you would kick and land on that same leg.
Oh, interesting.
And then the way it comes up in the tournament, obviously, is he gets his leg injured, so now he must use the crane technique.
Yes.
And then also that the arms would be splayed to the side.
For balance.
When they told me that, I said, you would never do that. And you can't do this.
Yeah.
You can't kick and land on the same leg. So I kind of told, after running through it several times that, we have to do it this way. So when you see me do it on the stump, I will do the leg up, do the double jump kick, land, and then quickly switch back.
So it's just
very short amount of time. And then this part, after we started doing it, Pat Johnson, the stunt coordinator, basically said, you got to do something with your hand.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, I'll do this. And that is the part that I made up. So, I don't want to take credit where credit's not due. But I made that part of it up.
That was huge. I hate to say it, they'll do it in their seat all the time.
Everyone does do it. Everyone does know it. So, and I'm proud of that. So I think it's a lot of fun.
No, you should be. I mean, you contributed. That's amazing.
Sure,
it's a move that everyone's going to forever remember.
And the concept and the crane, is forever immortalized in the movie. It's a great thing, and all credit due to everybody who was involved. So it's amazing.
Well, good. Well, thank you for setting the record straight.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Thank you.
and credit goes where it's due.
Sure.
You're adding. I'm probably not even doing it right.
No, everyone does. Everyone has their own way.
Style.
That's right.
Well, You know, you must be like an amazing teacher with your personality and what you've experienced and just even your martial arts experience, probably not even in life. We're not even touching on your life today. What do you love about teaching?
I have a saying that I really think sums it up, and I use it whenever a lot of times in a promotion or a speech, and the saying is, by demanding excellence, we allow others to achieve excellence.
Good.
And I think when someone trains and they're training under you, and next thing you know, it's been years, and you're putting them up to the scrutiny of other. I mean, we all know what happens in that process. You know, if we make sure that they're perfect, they will be perfect. They
strive for it.
It's the expectation set for them.
Right.
So it becomes, our responsibility to uphold the quality and the standards that they're seeking, and that's really, it gives me the greatest sense of accomplishment to see people work hard, sweat, spend the time,
show up, dedication, pushing through, making themselves uncomfortable.
Yeah, well, challenging themselves.
Yeah, in a good way, uncomfortable in a good way.
Yes.
Not getting injured, but I think for me as a teacher, it's those aha moments where you see the student, the light bulb goes on, and then they turn, they do it again, and then the body follows.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
I totally agree. In fact, I will tell you, just in line with what you just said, sometimes I'll be teaching, we've been doing it for 20, 30 years, and something that I say will click with somebody, and all of a sudden I use that as a technique for the next 10 years now, because it made so much sense.
Well, it makes it, absolutely. I agree. And then you see the students helping other students. Yes. So I know, you live on, Grandmaster. Well, I mean, that's one amazing aspect of our community. But I was wondering, if you look at our community as a whole, collectively, is there one thing that you would change?
Well, I think it's the obvious one, is that there's a lot of ego out there.
Good one.
And it's amazing because it's not everyone. I was just at the Hall of the museum, the unveiling of
last Saturday,
that I saw you as well, and spent some time with other grandmasters, Eric Lee and Douglas Wong, and Carl Tun. These guys are not like that at all. There's no ego when you walk into the room with these guys. They are, they're loving and caring and very personable. And I think I present myself the same way. I think I am the same way. And I always see that, but then you go to a tournament or you see a studio or a demonstration, and there's this, especially when they learn that, if I'm not presenting myself in the martial arts, and they find out, oh, he's Grandmaster. Oh yeah, he's Grandmaster. Or, what is your rank? And you feel that, I don't think it needs to be there.
I agree.
But it's part of the learning process, I think, of becoming, mastering something.
And then there are some grandmasters that never master themselves,
Boy, that's the can of worms that we probably.
Sorry, it's a whole different show, right? Well, speaking of ego, we are now in the age of the MMA, mixed martial arts, and I was wondering, because you have a healthy ego. I wouldn't say we don't have an ego. We just have a healthy ego of experience and confidence to back it up. And
that's a good way of putting it.
And knowing that we're always receptive to learn. So how do you feel that the mixed martial arts has affected our traditional martial arts community these days?
Well, it's had a huge effect. I will tell you that I'm a huge fan. When it first came about, and it was really, very variety. It was a lot of fun to watch. And I actually like the evolution of things, as it's moved to the jiu-jitsu, and then it went to the striking, and because I think what we're seeing now in the evolution is a striking, and I like the dominance of the karate style fighters, because when it was always Muay Thai style, or always takedown and rolling on the ground, you dominate there, but when they're using the range of the karate fighter, I think it shows a different type of fighting, and there's a lot more of this outside work. It's
the
less
angling and dynamics.
Yeah, it's the movement in and out, the interaction before the actual strike. Because once they start landing blows, then it's about who really can take a lot of punishment and stuff like that. So I'm a big fan. I wish that every studio didn't think that they had to have rolling on the ground is part of their, because we certainly don't. We work on our
Right.
floors, so we don't do that. You know, we take each other down, we work on locks. But you know, Kenpo is really a standing striking art in our
Yes.
in our form. So
Right.
you know, so I think there's good. I think it's raised a lot of awareness.
True.
So you know, that's not a bad thing.
Change some street fights too, definitely.
Well, the amazing thing is you know, anybody who's spending time watching YouTube videos, sometimes you'll see these street fights, and someone is clearly an MMA fighter, and he's still not knocking the guy out.
That's true.
And
Yeah.
you know, he gets knocked out, or they get wrestled to the ground, or someone comes in and hits him with a stick.
While they're on the ground.
Yeah. So, you know,
I know, I love that.
It really just disproves all those premises, and it's anything goes on the street.
It's true,
you know?
anything goes. That's why I would bite anybody for sure. That's not
That's
MMA.
right. That's why you just to be there. You know.
You do what you have to.
Exactly.
I was going to say about, you know, the ground fighting, there's a lot of children getting into it, and I just worry about, you know, the bone formation and injuries, because, you know, your 6-year-old may have good control, but maybe the 6-year-old they're working with
You know
doesn't.
what?
That's kind of what makes me nervous.
It is a major point of concern. I think it's right along with tackle football because
Yes.
because the head pounding and the concussive
Yes.
effect of getting hit in the face is not something that developing children should be having. So I don't condone it at that level. I worry about kids getting hit in the head and the concussion, because it's not the contusion, it's the head, the brain shaking inside the
correct.
skull that is causing it. And you can't see that.
No,
you
you
may not
can't.
know the effects. So I do get concerned about that.
Oh, thank you for sharing that. Well, and now for more fun,
Yeah.
what is something you can tell the audience about you that they wouldn't necessarily know?
Well, that's an interesting question, and there's probably a couple things. One is that I work in technology with schools,
Excellent.
so I actually have a couple of books published in that arena, so it has nothing to do with martial arts, so
Sure.
they would probably never know that. And probably the other thing is I love to fish.
Oh.
I love fishing, so if there's a stream or a lake or something, I'm probably looking at it and saying, I wonder if I can go fishing over there.
You're a water boy.
It's just something about me.
What is it about the fishing? Is it therapeutic? Is it peaceful? Is
Yeah,
it
yeah.
gives clarity?
It is. It's you know, it's the art of capturing the fish, or you know, thinking like a fish.
Fish warrior.
Yeah, putting the bait out there in front of the fish. I really love to fish in streams.
Oh.
So annually I go up to the Sierras and fish in
beautiful.
streams, and you know, wade, and you know, you're trying to figure out where he's sitting and how to present the bait.
Quality time.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Exactly.
Well, what can we expect from you this year, 2015? Anything exciting or something that you're looking forward to?
I mean, definitely we'll be continuing teaching. I teach, you know, my karate and my stick fighting classes, so I'll definitely continue with that. But, you know, I've been, with the advent of the 30th anniversary of the Karate Kid and the Martial Arts Hall of Fame, which I have been inducted to, I've been meeting other people and people that have these film projects. So, I don't know, I might pop up in a film cameo or something like that in the next year or so. We'll see what happens with that. Yeah, that's probably the only thing I can think about that's relevant. But
Well, that's
yeah,
good.
it'll be fun.
Good year planned then.
Yeah, I think
Sometimes
so.
we don't need these explosive events. Sometimes it's nice just to cruise once in a while and
Yeah,
maintain.
yeah, I think that's the right idea.
Well, we're concluding your interview now. Is there anything else you'd like to share with our audience?
I just wanted to thank you and the Martial Arts Hall of Fame. I think what is happening and what they're doing has to be done, and they're doing it in such a great fashion, recognizing you know, great martial artists in very nice, classy events. I think it's really something that has been long in coming, and I thank you and I thank them all about those events.
Yeah, well, thank you. I know I've seen some photo. I mean, there were 600 people at our last event, and the red carpet was a zoo. And I think I saw you in passing once, but then I saw photos. I'm like, I absolutely remember seeing Grandmaster there. It just was a lot of people.
There
Great
were
event.
a lot, and there were a lot of great people there.
Well, we're looking forward to our June 6th event, and we hope you can make it.
I will be there.
Wonderful.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for spending the
Grandmaster.
time.
Thank you for joining us today for this exclusive interview with Grandmaster Darryl Vidal. And thank you for your loyalty in watching the Masters Hall of Fame World News. If you'd like to reach Grandmaster Vidal, you can write to us at worldnews@mastershalloffame.org. Until then, we'll see you next time. Thank you.